Hello learners, happy learning. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to say the topic on enhancing the knowledge on research methodology for social sciences, part 3. This is the series of videos. In the previous videos we have seen what is research, what are the objectives of research, what are the good criteria for the research. Today we are going to see the types of research. There are 16 types of research. The one is descriptive research, ex post facto research, analytical research, fundamental research, applied research, quantitative research, qualitative research, conceptual research, empirical research, cross-sectional research, longitudinal research, field setting research, case study research, exploratory research, and historical research. So, we are going to see one by one. Descriptive research or descriptive study is a fact-finding investigation with adequate interpretation. It is the simplest type of research. It is more specific than an exploratory study, as it has focus on particular aspects or dimensions of a problem study. It is designed to gather descriptive information and provides information for formulating more sophisticated studies. Data are collected by using one or more appropriate methods: observation, interview, and mailed questions. Descriptive research includes survey and fact-finding inquiries of different kinds. The major purpose of descriptive research is description of state of affairs as it exists at present. Descriptive research attempt to determine, describe, or identify what is with the simple statistical tools. There is an advantage of using this type of research is descriptive information obtained in a research may be useful for prediction about the area of social life outside the boundaries of the research. Descriptive studies are valuable in providing the facts needed for planning social action, and there is some limitations for descriptive research. It is not applicable to a problem which cannot satisfy the required criteria mentioned here. The researcher may make a description. At the end of its research must lead to discovery of the fact. Although social science problems are continuous and have a past and a future, the researcher may lose himself in current conditions. The second type of research is ex post facto research or after the fact research. Ex post facto research is a systematic empirical inquiry in which the scientist does not have direct control of independent variables because their manifestation has already occurred or because they are inherently not manipulated. Inference about the relations among the variables are made without direct intervention from variation of independent and dependent variables. This kind of research is based on a scientific and analytical examination of dependent and independent variables. Independent variables are studied in retrospect for seeking possible and collisible relations, and they likely affects that the change in the independent variables procedure produce on a single or a set of dependent variables. In ex post facto research, the researcher control on the behavior of independent variable. In a very weak and in many cases, no control is possible. The main characteristics of this study is that the researcher has no control over the variable. He can only report what has happened or what is happening. Analytical study is a system of procedure and a technique of analysis applied to a quantitative data. It may consist of a system of mathematical model or statistical technique applicable to a numerical data. Hence, it is also known as a statistical method. This study aims at testing hypotheses and specifying and interpreting the relationship. It concentrates on analyzing data in depth and examining the relationship from various angles by bringing in as many relevant variables as possible in the analysis plan. In analytical research, the researcher has to use fact or information already available and analyze these to make a critical evaluation of the material. Fundamental research or basic research or pure research is original or basic in character. It is also known as theoretical research because its objective is to discover new but broad principles and synthesize without giving it any immediate applications. Fundamental research is mainly concerned with generalization and with the formulation of applied research. It is carried on to find a solution to a real life problem requiring an action or policy decision. It is thus problem oriented and action directed. It seeks an immediate and practical results. Example, marketing research carried on for developing a new market or for studying the post-purchase experience of the customer. There is a vast scope for applied research in the field of technology, management, commerce, economics, and other social sciences. Innumerable problems are faced in this area. They need empirical study for finding solutions. Though the immediate purpose of applied research is to find a solution to a practical problem, it may incidentally coordinate and contribute to the development of theoretical knowledge by leading to the discovery of new facts or testing of theory or to conceptual clarity. Quantitative research is based on the measurement of quantity or amount. It is applicable to the phenomena that can be expressed in terms of quantity. It focuses on describing the characteristics of the population. Qualitative research is concerned with the qualitative phenomena. It means the phenomena relating to or involving the quality or a kind. It focuses on describing the individual experience and beliefs. Conceptual research is that related to some abstract idea or theory. It is generally used by the philosopher and thinkers to develop a new concept or to reinterpret the existing. Empirical research, it is a data-based research coming up with conclusions which are capable of being verified by observation or experiment. We can also call it as experimental type of research. The next is cross-sectional research. In this type, you collect the data from many different individuals at a single point in time. In cross-sectional research, you observe the variable without influencing them. Different group information are compared at the same time. It's a cross-sectional research. Longitudinal research. Here the research is carried on over several time period with the same group and compared over the time. This is a longitudinal research. Field setting research or ethnographic research. It is used in anthropology area when the data for the research needed to be taken from the field work. It is known as field setting research. Field studies are scientific inquiry aimed at discovering the relations and interactions among the sociological, psychological, and education variable in a social institution and actual life situation like community, school, factories, organizations, and institutions. A social or institutional situation is selected and the relationship among the attitude, values, perceptions, and behavior of individuals and group in the selected situation are studied in field setting research. Next is case study. A case study is an in-depth comparative study of a person, a social group, an episode, a process, a situation, a program, a community, an institution, or any other social unit. It is one of the most popular type of research methods. Its purpose may be to understand the life cycle of unit under study or the interaction between the factors that explains the present status or the development over a period of time. Some examples of case study are social anthropological study of a rural or tribal community, a study of labor participation in management in a particular enterprises, a study of lifestyle of working women, a study of urban poor, a study of economic affairs, a study of refugees from another country. The case study as a research method often employ more technique than one. Thus, for tracing the development process, it uses a historical method. It employs a descriptive method where the factual picture is needed. It employs interview, mail questionnaire, checklist, rating scale, etc. to gather the data. It looks to statistics for testing the hypothesis. The aim of the case study is to ascertain the generic development of social unit under a study, revealing the factor that molded its life within its cultural setting. Because of it, aid in studying behavior in specific, precise details. Burgess termed the case study method as the social microscope. Exploratory research is a preliminary study of an unfamiliar problem about which a researcher has a little or no knowledge. It is similar to doctor's initial investigation of a patient suffering from an unfamiliar diseases for getting some proof for identifying it. It is ill-structured and much less focused on predetermined objectives. It usually takes the form of a pilot study. So it is a separate type of research. It is appropriate to consider it as a first stage of three stages process of exploration, description and experimentation. The main purpose of exploratory study may be to generate a new idea, or to increase a researcher's familiarity with the problem, or to make a precise formulation of problem, or to gather the information for clarifying the concept, or to determine whether it is feasible to attempt the study. An exploratory study does not aim at testing hypothesis. According to Daniel Kirk's, it's just attempt to see what is there rather than to predict the relationship that will be founded. But it should be so designed so as to provide as definite information as possible for a set of research objectives. Historical study is a study of past records and other information sources with a view to reconstructing the origin and development of an institution or a movement or a system and discovering the trend in the past. It is descriptive in nature. It is a difficult task. It must often depend on inference and logical analysis of recorded data and indirect evidence rather than upon direct observation. Hence, it is described as the induction of principles through the research into the past and the social forces which have shaped the present. There are 6 steps in historical research. The first one is the feasibility of study should be examined. Second one is the selected problem should be formulated and the plan of study should be designed. Third is the sources of data should be located. Fourth, the genuineness of the sources and the validity of the fact contained in them should be tested. Fifth, a relevant fact should be collected from the authentic source and they should be checked and cross-checked. Sixth, the fact should be arranged in a logical sequence and this is a synthesis of fact is the base for rebuilding of the past situation. Last, by adopting induction process, meaningful interpretation and generalization should be made. The quality of historical research depends on the relevance, adequacy and completeness of the fact collected, the reliability and the genuinity of the researcher in classifying and integrating them and in drawing the inference. Thank you for watching this video and subscribe to my channel.